Juvenile detention, Cassandra Palmer, Grand Canyon University, Psi 310, Professor Claudette Grooms, August 4th, 2024. In the 1750s to the 1850, there were houses of refuge. These houses were for troubled children, where they were offered interventions that were focused on their behavior and their activity within the family home. Juveniles experiencing issues at home were researched to have been found that it can affect them to the point of committing crimes or getting into trouble, and it is hard for them to express their emotions, and they do that so throughout crime. In the progressive era of 1899 to 1960, the juvenile courts were established during this era, which was put into place to focus on rehabilitation for under the age of 18. Now, 18 and up is still considered adulthood. The days that juvenile courts are still working on rehabilitation under 18, the program growth on these courts and programs have been proven to guide them to avoid reoffending. There have been facilities put in place that are there to train special people with specialties in assisting and reforming an individual. Due process error, the progressive error, was established during the progressive times back in the 1950s in response to intuition placements. The growth of the offenders went up, so placing them in areas where they would get the help that they needed because the parents lost control of youth, and which made the percentage of young offenders go up under the age of 18. In the 1960s and 1970s, the due process era, fairness of individual rights were emphasized of this era. The juvenile rights, where young offenders were given the ability to use their rights and receive the treatment that they deserved. The rights of juveniles have allowed the ability to get away with a lot more, resulting in the lack of holding juveniles responsible for their actions. A labeling theory was established by Howard Becker, and he said that the influence of one's behavior can be through self-identity and self-proclaimed criminal behaviors. 1980s to the 1990s, Get Tough on Crime became more of a focus of a lot of the politicians. Tough measures were shifted towards concerns about the crime. Zero tolerance were established in schools with zero tolerance policies. There was a lot of impacts in incarceration rates. There was increase of youth offenders, which became a problem, and they needed more and bigger facilities to host the juveniles, with increase of the faculty to protect the offending juveniles. Decision-making part of the juvenile's brain has yet to be developed, which is increasing the lack of their thought process and affect the individual's life with committing a crime. Lawrence Cohan and Marcus Felsen were involved with suggesting crimes happening on targeted individuals or individuals. So it's the lack of thought processing in the youth's brain. Reforming for juveniles. This is an era that emphasizes on rehabilitation for juveniles, where developmentally distinct, and they are able to get the reforming tools that they're needing. They can learn through a lot of hands-on assistance with those who have any type of juvenile cases or characteristics of criminal offending. In the 20th century, the theory was restorative justice. The contributor or the theorist varied with different scholars and practitioners. They believed that restorative justice focused on emphasizing on healing, repairing relationships, which allowed the offenders to repair those relationships that they may have been able to avoid and destroyed in the first place. Allowing the individuals to communicate with those they've offended against can give them the emotional connection as to why they actually hurt someone. Showing emotions allows them to feel what they may have done or been involved in, creating their own emotions. Juveniles can be tried as adults if the crime fits the bill. Restorative justice theory, which was repairing the harm caused by criminal behavior by reconciliation. There's a video here on juvenile courts. It is established with what juvenile delinquents court is. You can click on the site and it will take you straight to the actual video. There is another video that talks about the procedural justice theory, from criminal law to rights and obligations of individuals in society, to did the defendant commit a crime, which did the defendant commit, or which crime did they commit, does the defendant have a defense. Criminal procedure is individuals' rights during the criminal process. Did the government act legally when investigating or arresting or prosecuting the defendant? The video will also go through that. The references that were used was 2024 Center of Juvenile and Criminal Justice, the NCJ number 181990 Journal Juvenile Justice. Volume 6, Issue 2, dated December 1999, pages 13 to 21. Authors of that was Robert E. Shepard, Jr., and again, that was in 1999. Shoemaker, DJ Shoemaker, and Gary Jensen in May of 19th of 2024 with the Juvenile Justice, and that was from the Britannica. Anderman D. Brim and L.B. Katz in 1974 with the Empathic Observation of Innocent Victim, The Just World Revisited, and that was in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. Again, then Anderson J.E. and Fitzsimmons G.M. In 2010, In Search of a Silver Lining, the Justice Motive Fosters Perception of Benefits in the Later Lives of Tragedy to Victims. And that was in the Psychological Science, and that was back in 1599 to 1604. And then we also have the YouTube videos, the Procedure Justice, that was viewed on here. As far as juvenile justice, it does give them the rights. They have a little bit more rights than what adults do when it comes to either a slap on the wrist or rehabilitation facilities. And again, my name is Cassandra Palmer, and it was for Psi 310, Claudette Grooms, Professor, and it is August 4th, 2024.